Hey everyone, Egman here with another video. Today we're going to talk about the DBS Celebrations Montreal event that happened this past weekend. It was a really interesting event, and it was also kind of difficult to get all the information together, but I think I did a pretty good job here. I was able to find just placings in the top 4 and top 16, and decks from most of the 16. 2 of them are kind of missing, but they didn't. There wasn't the top 4, so it's all right. If we're gonna lose 2, it'd be these guys. But yeah, it was a lot of work to put together, and so I hope you all appreciate it. And yeah, let's just jump into it. So first of all, a lot of weird things about this event. First, it only had 84 players, which isn't like a small amount, but more than 100 registered, and there's just a lot of registration issues with these DBS celebration events. A lot of flack are given just because they had just an Excel or just like a Google Sheet to do it, which works for small YouTubers like me, but for when like 1,000 people are going to go to Orlando, there's going to be a lot of hiccups to that. So, but it looks like they're starting to kind of get it together. Orlando is next week with like once again over 1,000 people, but yeah, a lot of the people who signed up for the team event for this event weren't able to actually enter it, and so people just didn't show up for singles the next day, or the event in general, because of that. So I think there could have been a lot more people if that happened. But yeah, let's just talk about the top 16. So we've got the if you look at these leaders, you kind of start like, oh, okay, pretty regular Pan for them, Fruitigar, Vegeta Baby, and then you're like, oh, Golden Frieza, Rebrand, Dende Chilled. Like, what is this? What is this? What set are we in? Is this set 5? Well, but yeah, a lot of really interesting decks. Three of these decks, the Chill, the Rebrand, and the Golden Frieza, all of them, they are all teammates who won the team event, and they're like, oh, we already got our invites, let's just play something random, and they still got top 16 with these decks, which is really, really crazy. So, but yeah, if you look at this, at my, the needed pie chart for any event coverage, you can just see how much diversity there was, and one of every color made it, with Rebrand taking that one green. But yeah, I thought that was really cool and really fun to point out. So that's awesome. But a lot of red and a lot of yellow. Red took almost half of it, and then yellow kind of was about a third, with just Fruitigar and Janemba and Rebrand taking like a third or fourth there. So what, closer to what, 30%? Yeah, just about 30%. So anyways, let's jump into the deck. So Dani won the event with his Dende deck, which is really interesting. And then we also had Ryan Severin, who got second with Fruitigar, and then Ricky and Justin, who got third and fourth respectively with Pan. So let's jump into the deck. So first we'll just start with Dani's. Really, really creative. Really cool. I know I've got a friend. There was a lot of Frieza representation at this event, and a local player at my events, Dom, would really appreciate all these. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people try to get this, the yellow Frieza to work with the Sorbet leader, but they tried it with the Dende Piccolo leader, and I think there's a lot more merit to running with this, just because one, it awakens faster, just because you get 2 instead of just the 1. And yeah, it just seems really powerful. It's really cool, just a really cool idea of just being able to get all these interesting Friezas out with the Rival of the Emperor, going into Golden Frieza, Resurrected Terror through Occupation of Evil Frieza is really cool. And yeah, it just seems like a really strong deck. So, and there's also just like a lot of hand destruction, which is cool. Clan of Terror Mecha Frieza is also great for that. So just being able to use 2 energy to just kind of like swipe one out of their hand, and you get to choose it too, right? So that's really powerful. And yeah, it just seems like there's a lot of flexibility and stuff. So really cool there. And in the side deck, there's some surprise attack Friezas, which are also Friezas with 4 cost or less, so you can summon them from Rival of the Emperor. Some more Deadly Defenders, and just a really cool deck. So I'm happy it did so well, and I can expect a lot of people kind of experimenting with this kind of deck in the next couple weeks. So very cool, and congrats to Dani for winning with this deck. So next up, we've got Ryan's Fruitigar. He made a video of this. Also, any person that has a video for this, I've made sure to link here. Please watch their videos instead of just hearing me ramble about them, because they are way more experienced about it. I'll give just like a quick overview, but definitely if you want something more in depth, go into those videos for sure. So, but shout out to Ryan. This deck looks super cool. There were 2 weeks ago when there was, I think it was Las Vegas, yeah. The power booster Demigra inside of Hurrigarn kind of was made, and people have been experimenting with it, and it still seems really powerful. Just the amount of control, and then eventually hand destruction you can get with Hurrigarn. Like Hurrigarn is just such a powerful leader for so many reasons, and the fact that on the on energy 4 or higher with on the awakened side you get to ping something out of their hand additionally just seems like a really good control deck, and it's blue, so there's stuff like that, but it seems really powerful. So next up we're just gonna go through the rest of Hurrigarn. So next up we've got Jose's. It's more of just a blue kind of aggro. Well, actually, sorry, it's the Gogeta one. Sorry, I thought I was thinking of another one. But yeah, this one's actually really cool. So it's a Gogeta Hurrigarn, but instead of having the 7-drop and the main, he actually has it in the side. And I think that's actually a really interesting choice. And so my guess is just because you don't get steamrolled by aggro. Game 1, he's more worried about the aggro, but if he was playing against a deck that you could get to 5 energy with, he'd side in those Gogetas, which I think is really cool. And I think Hurrigarn is just a really good leader for Gogeta in general, just for a couple reasons. Like he's able to just fill up your drop for the sparking effect, and then also since his awakened side makes them drop 1. If you use Gogeta first and then attack with your awakened Hurrigarn leader, they're going to have 2 cards in hand, which is just like really feels really good, just because they're already at 3 resources. Now they're down to 2, and then if you do some like Phantom Flame Cannons, you just keep pinging them for that. So this deck seemed really cool, and Hurrigarn's just awesome right now as always. But let's go next to, this is the one I was thinking of. It's Shahu, with his just kind of a red-blue aggressive deck. Just being able to put a lot of pressure with Hurrigarn. Just I can't say it enough. Like he just has so much resource generation and stuff like that. So and this was kind of popular back when Hurrigarn first came out, and it's kind of been seeing a bit of a relapse right now. But it's just being able to play like intensifying power trunks in Kaba, and he's running 4 of these hidden power East Supreme Kai. Like what a madman! But really cool deck, and also like the Spectrum Attack Obuni, which is really interesting. I bet it's just to maybe get some more blue into the deck and perhaps some more cycle and stuff. And it puts something in the bottom, so if like you already have a Planet M2 in play, and then you draw the second one, you can just put that guy on the bottom of your deck. You're never going to find it again. So I think that's really cool. None of this deck like searches, so if you just have a bad card that you don't want in your hand, you can just put it back there. Like for example, if you have an extra Hurrigarn the Wanderer in your hand, I bet you can put use a Boony to put on your bottom of your deck, and then get it again with the Minosha, so you get some cycle there. So. But really, really cool deck. Really interestingly, he also wasn't running Chain Attack. Most of them that I've seen do run Chain Attack, but it's really cool to see he did so well without it. So next up, we're going into our pans. So this is Ricky Bonds, and he got 3rd. That is correct. Look at me doing my research. But it's this one. So he's running most of the pans are just kind of Chain Attack, and a lot of them just have a little bit more variation. Ricky's was the only one who ran the Pride and Justice Topo, which is kind of like the OG, summon itself negate, and it was really good in pan because it has 20k, so you get a draw on your opponent's turn. Another card for that, but it costs 2 energy, so it's a little tough for that, but still a super good card. Running 4 Fearless Pan, 4 double shots, and also Quick Rush Trunks, which really powerful. I saw like people running either 0 to 4, so 4 of them make sense, and also 4 Bodyguard Legic as well. Just being able to get that 15k for free to get the draw, I think is really powerful, and as a blocker too, so that's really good. And also running 4 of the Chain Attack and 3 of the Zeno, so really powerful there. And side just pretty standard stuff, honestly, like Kabas and burst attacks and stuff like that. So just a really solid archetype that's been almost around a year. Like, isn't that crazy that this kind of stuff's been around a year? But yeah, really powerful deck. And kind of the same thing with this one. This is Scott Dashy's. Just a couple of different changes to the formula. He ran like 2 Zarbon Hidden Potential, which could be really cool. There's nothing that you can use in this deck to proc it yourself, but just being able to have a body that they don't want to blow up seems really good. He also mained the burst attacks and Gohans instead of putting them to the side. And he also his sideboard had a lot more special kind of like overrealm stuff. Like he had Mass Saiyan in case he had any like decks that swarmed the field. He had some Trunks power overseeing time, no doubt for the Janemba matchup, which didn't seem like it was a really big thing for this event, but that's okay. And then also like Black Power Mass Saiyan, which would be really good for like a chilled leader if those ever exist, right? And then also 2 body change Ginyu as well, and Planet M2s in the side. So he also went with Unending Awakening as the in the main. I don't think a lot of people are doing that, but I think that was a good choice. So it's just a really good. It's like a Sensu being the gate. So really cool there. Next up, we've got okay, and then lastly, there are 4 pans where we only have 3 lists, and also Justin, who got 4th. His list had 48 cards in it, and I made sure I double checked. So I'm not sure if that was noted at all, if you got a game loss for it, or what have you, but I don't know what the other 2 cards are. So that's where these World Tournament arenas are there. Looking at this list and guessing at it, maybe it was just like 2 more Bodyguard Legics or Quick Rush, or I don't really see anything that these other lists have that he would be missing. Yeah, I'm not sure if he just had like some Overwhelm card he was missing. But yeah, regardless of that, he decided to run Frieza's Army Reborn, which I thought was really interesting. It's a really powerful card that can just win you the game by popping it down, so that's really cool. And then also these Yamchas at 100% in the side, that seemed really spicy to me. It's really good for getting rid of Son Goku Path to Greatness, and I thought that was a really cool tech choice there. So he was also running 3 Supreme Kai Time Lights Guide. I thought that was really interesting. I feel like people are trying to, if you're running everybody's Pal Yamcha, you'd rather be running Time Patrol Trunks, but maybe you didn't have them, or maybe you just thought the plus 5k attack was more important. But regardless, pretty solid deck, and really, it's a really found out archetype, right? So there's not a lot of variations people can do, but congratulations to your 4th place finish, and hopefully he was actually running 50 cards and not just 48, I guess, unless he really wanted to lose to Mill, right? So next up, we've got Nick Shepard's. I'm making a video for this, and it will probably be up by the time that this is up too. But really cool deck. He got 8th place with this baby deck. Baby's just been really powerful lately, and he had a couple of interesting innovations, like having this Dr. Mew under Baby's control. I think is a really good choice. You really want to see as many of these Baby's Vengeance Unleashed as you can, so having a little bit of search to doing that is helpful. You also have like 22 cards, like almost half your deck is Machine Mutants, including your super combo, so he said he like never missed with it this entire event with it, and he was only running 3 of the 5-drop Super Baby, so I think that was a really good choice, and it seemed to have done him well, so props to him. And then also just kind of had this side of this kind of chain attack side, just for getting Zeno, and then also if you need to have more pressure with like Impeccable Super Saiyan Calvin and stuff like that. So well done to Nick, and really like his deck. So next up, we've got another baby deck. This one is Kelvins. And nothing, a little bit more of a standard package from Nick's. He's having 3 daily trainings, 2 jigging cheaps, and he's not obviously running Dr. Mew. Some stuff that I did think was interesting, maining the Manny's Killer Zone I thought was really cool, and I think that's because he's also maining the Chain Attack Zeno line. He really doesn't want to get Cold Bloodlust, so he's doing that. And then also, I felt it was like Time's Choice Supreme Kai Time is a good idea, just to, if you want to make sure you're running, you hit your chain attacks, or even if you hit your pieces for your baby chain. Time's Choice can be like a free version of Dr. Mew because they both look at top 3, but the only thing that's bad about it is you can destroy your warp or your drop area, and then you can't use After Image Technique. That's the only thing I can think of, but it's a good alternative and kind of does the same thing for that. So, and then also he's running 4 of the Unbreakable Super Saiyan Son Goku. This deck doesn't seem to be like super energy fluid, so I was curious to see that. But he also like drops in Revenge Death Balls, and talking about Nick, there was a lot of people running barriers, so maybe instead of having Revenge Death Ball, having these Unbreakables might have been the correct call for that. So other than that, the side deck is pretty standard, just has some more Chain Attack Zeno if needed. And yeah, let's move next to, okay, here we go. We're getting into the spice of this one. I'm not going to talk about this deck too much. Android did a really good video. He did an interview with Kenneth on this or sorry with Eric on this deck. Really cool. Just talking about what his thought process was and the cards he included. But really cool. Just cliff notes if you need it. He's got Chilled, and Chilled just makes tokens, so you can add pressure. They're 10k and they don't have combos, so you can't, you always want to swing with them. But he's also Awakened 6 leader, which is really cool. A lot of people didn't really know that. And there's just like a lot of cool things you could cheat out and a lot of pressure you could put with this deck. So really cool deck. Please watch their video if you're more interested in it, and congrats to Eric on that one. So next up we've got this Broly deck that was piloted by Nigel. This was the only Broly in the top 16, which is really interesting to me. I wonder if people just didn't play it. Talking to Nick about it a little bit, it seemed like it wasn't the most popular deck to be at the event, but it's still like super powerful. So it's pretty consistent here. Nothing too fancy in this version that I saw. He's running one Shugesh, so he's getting super greedy, and everyone who ran Cronoa feels justified. Also, 3 Battering Laser in the main is very hefty, but I no doubt that the charm. Also, I thought it was really cool to see that. I don't know, like people are always wanting to run Mirror and Champa, right, in these Broly decks, just because he can do like 3 damage for like, unless they have a negate, like 3 free damage on it. So really cool to see that in there. I hope it wasn't too clunky. That's the only thing, like you kind of have to pick a game plan, right? Am I going into Height of Mastery or Mirror? But it seemed like it did really well for him. He also had some interesting stuff in his sideboard, such as like these Genies here to support. I don't really think there's any. I can't. There's not like a lot of like Overwhelm stuff, unless you really want to make his Scientist Fu, and I guess for Trunks' power overseeing time and stuff like that. But she's also just a 15k you can attack with, which is really powerful. He also had like the Hidden Power E Supreme Kai in his side, which just like made me a little bit OCD. Like, okay, choose Champa or E Supreme Kai. Don't choose both, right? Unless you're running 4 and 4. But yeah, I think this deck was really solid, and it's Broly lineage, right? You know the formula enough. So next up, we've got one of the next spice. This is Kenneth's Golden Frieza. I'm going to be talking to Kenneth and also this Rebrand. Oh, my love. I'm going to have an interview with him later this week, so I'll probably go more into detail about these 2 decks then. But just cliff notes again. This was a really cool deck, and once again, shoutouts to my boy Dom in OP, Kansas. We got he's really tried out this deck type a lot, and it was really cool to see it do well. The idea with this leader is that you have to kill one of your Frieza's army guys, and if you do, you get a draw card, and you also get an untap energy. And then the Awakened side is 2 energy, you get it untapped, so you can get like a free energy if you play a 1-drop into it. And there's a lot of ways you can get 1-drops and stuff like that. There's Avenging Frieza, which is a 1-drop in Sorbet, but also Dimension Support Trunks can get any of this Apule or Sui. And then they get crit, and then you attack with this 15k crit, which you can also give Double Strike, and then you can once they're done, you can send them to the drop area, and then you get to untap 2 cards and draw 1. It's just a lot of recursion, just a lot of pressure, and just really cool. A lot of crits and a lot of double strikes coming out, and like surprise attack and all that other stuff. And surprise attack also can be found with Avenging, and just overall just a really solid deck. The only things I'd say that were weird is that running Shugesh in this deck seemed a little bit weird. He had like Source of Power Son Goku and Terror Scythe, but there wasn't like a lot of Saiyans for him. So I was curious to see him running it too. And then also there are no extra cards. I don't know if you just noticed that there are no extra cards. There are no negates in this, not even Master Roshi. So really cool there. He must have just felt really comfortable that no one was going to aggro him down, and he was right on that. So really cool there. A really cool deck. And let's go to the Rebrand deck. This is just like amazing, right? Who could guess looking at this that this would make top 16, right? Just a really cool deck, and the creator of this deck even told me like, yeah, I just decided like, oh, I want to put cards in just to make it really thematic, right? I don't care if it was really good, I just want to add to the theme, which is why like he's got 2 Helles and 2 of the Master of the Sky, right? Like Helles is usually the best one 9 times out of 10, but he decided to go half and half just for the diversity of it. So really cool there. And you know, it's not like super crazy that this works, right? We're in like a turn 4 meta, so the maidens are turn 4 combo, so it's not super crazy that you can just turn 1 play like Zorbuto, then turn 2 play Brienne, and then turn 3 evolve to Rebrand, and then turn 4 play Maiden Transformation, and then get a lot of momentum control from there. So that's really cool. I'm looking forward to have my interview with him to go more than that, but a really cool deck, and it seems really solid. So anyways, I think that's going to be it for me. Once again, the description for this document is in the description below, or the link to it. Did I say description? I don't know. I'm tired. If you want the link to this, it's in the description. If you have anything to add, if you are David Ty or Tyler Anderson and you have your decks, please let me know and I will put them there. Or if you made a video over one of these 2 decks, let me know and I will link it here so people can see you and get some free advertising for that. So anyways, thank you guys again so much, and I'll catch you all next time.